Now, Dorothy, I met you when you spoke in front of this wonderful audience and Mattress Mac, who was one of the featured speakers talking about mental health, post traumatic stress syndrome. And you, my beautiful lady, were in the military and had
Yes,
some
ma'am.
very interesting experiences there that launched you into a career in law, very
Yeah.
unique position that you hold, and now you're helping others in the military who kind of might have suffered some all kinds of incidents. You're now kind of a speaker, an ally for our men and women in the military. So tell us a little bit about your life, Dorothy.
Okay. Well, first off, I was born in New Orleans and then moved to Pasadena, Texas when I was about 8 years old and graduated from LaPorte High School and went into the military right after I decided I didn't really like college. I started over at San Jacinto College and it didn't feel like the right fit for me at the time. And my friend was joining the military and she said, "Oh, come on, let's go." So I went over across the street to the recruiter's office and I joined the Navy and off I went, May 23rd of 1989.
Wow.
And I was probably one of the last people anyone ever thought would join the military. Um, but I had the greatest time. I really did. I started off in Florida and ended up somehow in the Persian Gulf during the first Persian Gulf War. The Gulf, we mine was called Operation Desert Storm. My piece of that war,
Mhm.
and I got to refuel helicopters. I was a purple shirt on the flight deck. I worked in the engine room. I got to see all of these different places in the world that I probably never would have seen before. I got to see where all different parts of Japan, Malaysia, uh, Korea, you just name it, we stopped and we did stuff there. The Philippines, which was really interesting. That's where my mom's family is from. So I got to even take leave there. As a military member, if you visit a home port of, at least in the Navy, where your family is from and you have family there, then you're eligible for leave if that's allowed at the time. So when the war was over on our way back, I got to take leave there. It was just a wonderful experience. And yes, there were some times that, you don't want to forget them because you learn from them and they are traumatic. I mean, it's war. And some things happened. We were a gender integration combat vessel. So you can pretty much expect that there's going to be some issues, right? First
Yep.
time men and women have ever sailed together. And we weren't supposed to be in the combat zone, but our sister ship hit a mine. And so therefore, there we went. And so that added, I think, a little stress. But what we all gave our very best. Our mission was accomplished for our country. Some of us suffered a little more than others in respects of personal trauma. However, our government and our VA, upon notice, has taken really good care of us. And we thank all of our countrymen for doing that. And one of the greatest things is that where the VA skips a beat or is overwhelmed, right? We've got great organizations like Operation Red Wings Foundation and Camp Hope and a lot of our other organizations here in Texas that fill in those gaps, helping the VA to meet her mission, because Americans care about our veterans, and God love you for it because we need you, and we're really happy to know that you care. It
You
makes
are
a
just
big.
so well spoken. I mean, I heard your story and it's a pretty intense
Oh, God
story,
bless.
Dorothy. But what you did, you took this trauma and you became an attorney and you started in an area that was very unique. You're specifically geared towards helping our military who might have also experienced some form of trauma.
Well, that wasn't me. That was God. Okay, because I
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, this is my testimony. So I was working in the laboratory as a microbiologist, and something happened, and I had to switch gears, right? And so I ended up going to law school. Excuse me. And Dean Gerald Treese from South Texas College of Law, he was a Vietnam veteran. So
We've
he
heard him
was
on the
already
radio.
right. He was
Yeah.
already aware that I was going to have some challenges, but he was prepared to help me meet them, and he did. The entire school was just so supportive. I was going back to school as a second career. I was going back to school as an adult amongst people who were at least 10 years my junior and had the energy 10 years my junior. And God put me out there, and I got all of these great opportunities. And then the year that I graduated law school, 2010, was the same year that Congress opened up VA law for lawyers to practice at the level that is an entry level, right? And so it was God-given. So off I went to learn how to do that, and did a lot of internship, apprenticeship. I was helped by Texas Veterans Commission and the DAV here in Houston, as well as the Houston VA regional office gave me an internship. And everyone supported me to become a voice for veterans. So that's what I do. That's I understand a lot of the different things that they go through. And now that I'm a little bit older, right? I'm 52 now. And so now that I'm 52, I see a lot of these younger veterans, especially female veterans, that I can identify where they are in place and time with not only acceptance of these new limitations that PTSD and different types of diagnoses take them, but also the anger barometer, right? The anger level of having to accept something that they didn't ask for, right? A disease or an affliction that now limits their natural selves in a way that they never asked for and never even knew they were going to have to do. And so I try to help quell that while working with them. And that's what I love about being a team lead over at Operation Red Wings, because I get to see the gamut of where everyone is in that acceptance. And normally I have some kind of a story or some kind of a crazy fun event that happened to me when I was going through that same kind of a stage that they tell me helps them. And that's enough, right? That's a blessing. So
that is amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
If people, I'm sure there might be a family member watching you, listening to you right now, and they're like, oh my gosh, she might be the answer. I mean, will you help people? How could people get in touch with you? I mean, I know you're an attorney, a very busy attorney, but I know you work with other organizations like Camp Hope and Operation Red Wing Foundation.
Yes, well, if you don't want to sign up and get to know me by coming out doing a retreat, which I highly recommend, you can also just call me. I have all of my numbers. I only have one number, and just like Mr. McInvale, I took his advice. One number and publish it, right? All you have to do is text me, and I'll get back with you, and we'll sit down and we'll talk. And we'll find a way to get you the help that you need. I can't always be everywhere all the time, but I am very open to giving my time and giving of myself to make sure that you get in touch with the right person to help you, no matter what that might be. So I'll do my best. I mean,
Dorothy, you just, I'm sure you never had any idea when you walked across the street thinking, oh, this is going to be great, going to the recruiting office, we call it the road to Damascus. You had no idea what God had in store for you.
No, I thought I was just going into the Navy with my friend, who, by the way, she didn't end up in the Navy. She ended up in the Marine Corps. And we weren't even together on the journey after we thought we were going to be. And she's a Houston native as well, and her name is Sonia. And hopefully one day we'll all get to get together and you can hear a little bit more about that story. But it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny the way we ended up in the military. But yeah, you can, like I said, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, I have a LinkedIn profile that's primary. That's my primary point of contact with social media. My phone number is listed there. Give me a call.
And I want my viewers to understand that your pretty happy face wasn't always so happy. You went through some incredible stuff, and the techniques that you used to pull yourself out of it, pretty amazing. So Dorothy could definitely help you if you need, or if you have a family member who needs help. And I would encourage to reach out to her and check out, maybe go up to Huntsville and check out that incredible retreat up there.
100%. You know, I learned a long time ago, and I think it started when my father died when I was 7, and I was daddy's girl completely. And what I learned is that life goes on, and you must learn from it. And so, no matter what is thrown at you, you got to turn that around, and you've got to own it, and you just got to move forward. You don't look back, because you're not going that way. That's just it. Don't look back. You're not going that way. Look forward, and there's so much more before you that God has for you that you have no idea. You have no idea. I still don't know.
I'm so glad you stuck around so you could share this message with us right now, because that's what people need to hear. So Dorothy, a delight. I'm so glad I met you. It was pretty cool. You know, you're like, I can't believe I'm speaking after Mattress Mac. He loved your discussion. He learned so much from you. Called me the next day. He called me the next day. Wasn't she amazing? So just so you know. Yep.
Well, yay.
So thank you again for all you do.
Too. You know, you're a military mom, and God love you. Military moms are the best.
We're pretty tough cookies, but man, it is tough, but it's people like you who keep us going. So we appreciate you so much. And we'll get all the information up on our socials so people can reach out to you. Okay. Dorothy, you're a delight. Thank you for your time.